3 days before the wedding, Ethan announced the postponement for his white moonlight. When I received his message, I was discussing wedding details with the hotel staff. Seeing my unusual expression, the staff cautiously asked, "Miss Sophia, are you all right?" I shook my head to indicate I was fine, and after confirming all details with the hotel, I told them everything would proceed as usual, which finally relieved the staff. As I left the hotel, I saw Adrian's update on Facebook. I raised an eyebrow. Marriage, after all, just needs a person. Why hang oneself on a single tree? Right, brother-in-law. While I was confirming details with the wedding company for the last time, my phone suddenly rang. Opening it, it was from Ethan. "Lydia is ill, I'm going to check on her. Postpone the wedding in 3 days. You explained to everyone." Upon seeing this message, I was momentarily stunned. Our two families are prominent figures in Haicheng. The invitations have already been sent, yet Ethan disregards everyone, essentially putting our family on the rack, far too dismissive of us. The nearby staff noticed my unease and cautiously asked, "Miss Sophia, are you all right?" I took a deep breath, suppressing my anger. "I'm fine, continue." The two girls exchanged glances before continuing to describe the wedding details. My mind was filled with Ethan's recent message, leaving me somewhat disoriented. Miss Sophia." The staff's voice brought me back to reality. Seeing their worried faces, I sighed. "Ladies, something came up on my end, thank you for coming today. I'll notify you of specifics tomorrow, let's end here for now." The two girls seemed at a loss, considering they were just employees. I added, "Don't worry, if our issue prevents your work from completing, I'll compensate for any losses at full value." They finally relaxed, greeted me, and left. As they departed, their gazes were full of sympathy. They probably understood what happened, I thought self-mockingly. Ethan and I could be considered childhood sweethearts. Our families are old acquaintances, together holding most of Haicheng's resources, so the elders, and even Ethan and I, assumed we would marry as adults. After all, a strong alliance would elevate both companies further. My parents felt the Pei family was well known to them, and Ethan had grown up under their watch, so they offered no further objections. The change occurred during university. That day, a sudden heavy rain trapped Ethan, who was buying food for me, in the cafeteria, where he met Lydia, who was working part-time there. Resilient individuals are always attractive, especially since she lent Ethan her only umbrella in that situation. However, due to menstrual discomfort, I was lying in the dorm unaware that I had inexplicably incurred a debt of gratitude. The two added each other on Facebook, and their interactions increased thereafter. After graduation, per the original plan, we should have gotten engaged immediately. Yet Ethan unusually stated he wanted to familiarize himself with company business first, and once capable, give me a grand engagement banquet. I had no objections, as I had entered my family's company and had no mind for such matters. Yet even with my parents paving the way, my ascent was not entirely smooth. On the contrary, some company elders were not optimistic about a fresh graduate like me taking over, especially as a girl. At that time I held a grudge, determined to prove them wrong, unwittingly neglecting Ethan. It was then that Lydia deeply entered Ethan's heart. When I came to my senses, the two were inseparable. I had no habit of breaking up lovers, so after consulting my parents, I decided to cancel the marriage alliance. After all, I had stabilized my position in Chin Corporation with a bright future. But the Pei family disagreed, and even Ethan sent her abroad overnight. Coincidentally, my father was unwell, and with the failure of the Jinsho Villa project, fearing outsiders would target the company, I set aside the idea. I decided to live well with Ethan. However, the world is unpredictable, there are always those unwilling to live peacefully. Leaving the hotel, the oncoming cold wind cleared my mind somewhat. Then a coat was draped over me. Turning back, I realized it was Adrian, the Pei family's illegitimate son, retrieved half a year ago to marry out for Pei Corporation. Thank you. I tightened the coat. Why haven't you gone back yet? Today was the final rehearsal at the hotel. Ethan, who should have accompanied me, was late, so his parents, losing face, had Adrian, who came along, walk through it with me. The two elders said they would accompany me to confirm details again, but unexpectedly left hastily after a call midway. I always thought Adrian left with them, but this kid was left behind. When they left, I went to the restroom. Upon returning, I was alone. His words were vague. With convenient transportation today, staying until now wasn't simply being abandoned. Just then, my family's driver arrived. Seeing Adrian feigning calm, recalling the photo Ethan posted on Facebook of interlocked fingers and that invitation, I formulated a plan. Get in. I said to Adrian, I'll take you home. Adrian didn't hesitate, got in directly, without even asking where, even seeming faintly happy. I watched the receding scenery outside. This kid isn't formidable, but quite clever. My parents were somewhat surprised seeing me bring Adrian home. But families abhor concealment, so I recounted today's events in full, then explained my plans. But doing this, you might be mocked too. Mother was still worried. Society is indeed overly harsh on women. Even if Ethan is at fault, some will magnify my flaws to romanticize his moral depravity, even if their romance tramples our Chin family's blood and bones. Understanding Mother's concern for me, I revealed a shocking secret. Initially, Ethan handled the invitations alone. Trusting him, I didn't quibble. When matters were set, I discovered the groom was listed as Pei family young master. And now, the Pei family has more than one young master. Hearing this, the three were shocked. Though all knew Ethan was unreliable, none expected such a major blunder from him in this matter. I said recently when going out, those madams looked at me hesitantly. Turns out this fool dared treat our girl this way. Father angrily slapped the tea table. No, I'll call Raymond to clarify. Our girl isn't unwanted to be forced on them. How can he allow his son to torment her so? I quickly stopped Father. Your health is poor, don't worry. I came back today to inform you and Mother, lest my next action scare you elders. Leave the rest to me. Parents looked at me, sighed, and said, do what you want. Our Chin family isn't shameless. If we don't vent properly this time, outsiders will think us easily bullied. I chatted with parents a while longer, coaxed them well, then took Adrian back to what was originally my and Ethan's wedding house. The wedding house is in the city center, 3 bedrooms and 2 halls, neat and orderly. Everything inside was discussed bit by bit with the construction team, especially the meticulously designed master bedroom, spacious and bright. Ethan isn't short of money, so the house is in my name. Upon entering, I immediately called a locksmith to change the door lock, then attended to Adrian. Facing this person 4 years younger, I didn't beat around the bush. You heard the words just now. Thus, we're now grasshoppers on the same rope, you should know. Before finishing, Adrian interrupted, sister-in-law, no need to threaten. I want Pei's money. You want to shed the Pei label. I think we can fully cooperate. Looking at this ambitious person, I was very satisfied with his performance. I like cooperating with smart people. Everyone lives seeking something. As long as he seeks, we can have aligned goals, even if temporary, it's enough. After seeing Adrian off, I called Ethan, but it was rejected. Fine, so be it, since you won't answer, learning at the wedding isn't bad either. I thought gloatingly, this is your own doing. Thinking I'd soon rid myself of Ethan, I happily ate an extra supper. The next day, Ethan called, indeed asking me to pick up him and Lydia. I scoffed aloud, directly refusing. Ethan, are you out of your mind? You abandoned me for your little lover, and now back, want me to pick you up? Then I heard Lydia's weak and aggrieved voice from the phone. Ethan, you suddenly left Sister Sophia for me. Her anger is normal. I'm unworthy of her personally picking me up. Cough cough, blame me for getting this illness. Hearing this, Ethan immediately raised his voice. Sophia, why are you still so unreasonable? Lydia is ill, and you still target her? I placed the phone on the tea table, looking at Adrian's message, understanding the reason. Ethan's card was stopped. Yesterday's call Ethan's parents received was from him. They didn't expect their son to abandon me and go abroad then, so to force him back, they stopped his card directly. Thus, he can't return now. Happy for a moment, Adrian splashed cold water. Ethan is their son after all. Stopping his card in anger is not unusual now, but what when the anger subsides? Thinking, I hung up on Ethan and called the wedding company. Upon hearing the groom's name, there was a moment of silence, then cautiously, Miss Sophia, are you sure? Naturally. I fiddled with the invitation. I should have sent you invitations. Originally, the groom's name wasn't specified clearly. I discovered the printing error today while tidying, sorry about that. The girl there seemed relieved, said they'd handle everything, let me prepare to marry, then hung up. After preparing everything, I created a group with us four and announced related messages. Dad, suit photo, darling, does this set look good? Me, good. Right, Adrian. Adrian, Uncle looks especially spirited in this. Dad was truly coaxed happy, starting to chat casually with Adrian. This was absent with Ethan before. Even creating a group, he found troublesome. Turning, I saw his phone with Lydia's family group, 99 plus messages, yet no complaint of trouble. Ultimately, he felt I was unworthy, looked down on me, even making my parents suffer. And this wasn't without traces. Our family's strengths are equal, but since entering companies, people compared us, even if businesses differ, even if I exerted more effort, in their mouths, it became my insufficient ability. Perhaps Ethan initially respected me, but flattered long, his mindset inevitably changed, naturally less attentive to me than before. Until his affair with Lydia surfaced, our family unanimously decided to withdraw the marriage. But Ethan's parents are smart, long in power with broad vision, seeing our family was biding time, unwilling to abandon our resources, yet due to Ethan's immaturity, sparking a tug-of-war between families. Outsiders couldn't understand our actions, only knowing Chin family compromised last, meaning pay one. This circle lacks not sycophants, thus, outsiders' illusion that without pay, Chin would fail. A rapid phone ring interrupted my thoughts, thinking it Ethan again, about to hang up, but it was Adrian's. What's up? I sighed, it can't be you don't want to cooperate. No. Adrian's tone was serious, Ethan is back. I nodded, then realizing he couldn't see, continued, I know, anything else? If not, I'll hang up. Aren't you anxious? Adrian asked hoarsely, if he returns. Adrian. I interrupted, to manage a company, such hesitation and panic at issues isn't good. Then, I hung up. Then tidied up, planning to go to the beauty salon. About to marry, I must be the prettiest bride. But facts prove one shouldn't be too optimistic. When lying on the beauty salon's bed, blocked in the room by Ethan and Lydia, I knew one shouldn't boast too early. Ethan, seeing my leisurely self, impatiently asked, Sophia, you dare not answer my calls? Do you know Lydia is ill, can't be delayed? I spread my hands, showing incomprehension. What if I answered? You can't expect me generous enough to tolerate my fiancé's little lover? Better I yield the position. You. Ethan choked, you're simply a shrew. Fine, fine. I waved, whatever you say, but can you two leave first, let me dress? But they seemed deaf to words, one pulled my hand demanding explanation, the other weakly as if fainting, begging help. Fine, can't understand words, huh? I gripped the towel around my chest tightly, kicked Lydia away, slapped Ethan. Unsatisfied, slapped again. He tried to fight back, but I kicked him. Ethan instantly curled up on the ground like a shrimp with its thread removed, in agony. Are you guys awake now? Then, the staff who seemed missing suddenly appeared. Facing their obsequiousness, I gave no good face, but while they pulled the people out, I quickly dressed. As I prepared to call police, the salon manager entered, seeing my displeasure, ingratiatingly said, "Miss Sophia, today our staff's negligence affected you, we deeply apologize. This is our VIP Gold card, 50% off all future consumption." I sneered, interrupting, "You think I lack this money?" Manager's face stiffened, sweating. "Then Miss Sophia, what? First, fire the employee who let them in." I raised a second finger. "Second, your official account must release a statement explaining today and publicly apologize." Manager looked troubled. "This. If can't, I don't mind lawyers discussing privacy and reputation rights." I picked up my bag to leave. 3 hours to consider, overdue not waited. Leaving the salon, I took a deep breath. Phone vibrated. Adrian's message, "Ethan went to you?" I replied, "Just sent away." "How no?" He posted on Facebook. Then sent a screenshot. Photo, Lydia leaning on Ethan's shoulder, caption, "True love fears no storm." I scoffed, "True love? Let me see how true this love is." Half an hour later, I received the manager's reply. Of course, I agreed to her plea, focusing the issue on staff irresponsibility. Cowardly? No, after all, ancestors said, excess is as bad as deficiency. My current priority isn't quarreling with a salon, but preparing the upcoming wedding. On wedding day, I arrived early at hotel makeup room. Ethan indeed didn't appear. From private investigator's message, I confirmed he was likely at hospital with Lydia for treatment. Mother pushed door in, complex expression, "Sophia, pay side." "Mom, rest assured." I adjusted veil and mirror. After today, Chin family no longer forced to defer to pay. Mother sighed, "Your dad had hypertension flare up these days, can't attend to support you." My eyes warmed. "Mom, sorry, making you suffer with me." "What are you saying?" Mother held my hand. "If not for your dad and me holding back, you'd have broken with this man long ago. Why mocked by outsiders till now? Clearly my daughter is so capable." Saying, Mother tidied my hair. "Now we've stabilized, go ahead boldly. I don't believe without pay, we can't survive." My eyes heated, I nodded forcefully. Then, Adrian messaged, "Ready, can start anytime." I replied, "Proceed as planned." Wedding march played, I in gown slowly ascended stage. Guests full, but I spotted front row Ethan's parents, faces ashen, held by bodyguards, nodded to them, hoping they'd be happy next. MC stood awkwardly on stage, whispered, "Miss Sophia, groom." I smiled slightly, took mic, "Thank you all for attending my wedding amid busyness, but groom due to private reasons may arrive late." Below stage immediate uproar. People whispered, many started mocking. After all, Ethan and Lydia's affair couldn't be contained, especially now Ethan was head over heels. But they didn't blame Ethan's moral decay, just said I lacked ability, failing in business against men aside, even in captivating a man's heart, lost to a woman of no background. I smiled faintly, even prearranged people among them to steer rhythm, ensuring events developed as I hoped. As these people wished to strip me with gazes, watch my embarrassment, my assistant nodded to me. I instantly raised voice, "Everyone, the groom has arrived." With my words, doors opened, Adrian in white suit slowly entered. Crowd looked over, showing surprise upon seeing him. "How? Isn't the groom young Master Ethan?" "This, what means?" Amid discussions, Adrian quickly reached my side, took the mic. "Thank you all for attending Sophia and my wedding, but before starting, some matters need troubling my father and mother." Saying, he even went down to directly invite the two on stage. The two, faces full of venom just now, instantly changed color, wanting to speak, but Adrian refused to give mic. My assistant Mia directed staff to bring me a chair. I sat accordingly, took water from Mia, began watching the show. As if knowing I watched, Adrian cleared throat, Everyone knows my parents are very satisfied with this marriage, so during family's discussion, said to give 8% shares as dowry to daughter-in-law. Saying, he took file from my assistant, displayed it. Then Ethan's parents, hearing, couldn't suppress anger, about to scold Adrian, interrupted again, everyone knows I'm an illegitimate son, climbing to Sophia is my fortune. Today marrying in, must bring something for support, else who'll pay hard to stand. Please witness signing this gift contract today, so I can establish in Chin. Finished, full silence. Raymond slapped his thigh hard, nonsense. Today is your brother and sister-in-law's wedding, you dog here embarrassing, what do you want, get down quick. Adrian immediately reddened eyes looking at me, I raised eyebrow, this kid wrong track, should act. But plan important. I stood, smiled at Raymond, Uncle Raymond, you're wrong. Then, had assistant bring files and invitations, this writes pay family young master, isn't Adrian pay? Words fell, many lowered heads to check invitations, discovering groom indeed pay young master. Ethan's parents hearing, snatched invitation, after seeing info, staggered, nearly fell. Adrian immediately supported, see you two so happy. Saying, handed file up, started coquettish, Dad Mom, can you bear seeing me marry into Chin alone like this? Affected voice transmitted via mic, making me want to vomit. Enough, I say Adrian, enough. Who are you disgusting? As atmosphere stiffened, my phone rang. Took from Mia, surprisingly Ethan, Adrian and I exchanged glances, seeing same excitement. That moment our minds united. I pressed answer in speaker, he directed mic to my phone. Sophia. Ethan's reminiscent voice came from mic, then amplified around. Guests below instantly quiet as chickens, only gossip souls burning. Mia, after directing bodyguards to cover Ethan's parents' mouths, nodded righteously to me. Fart if you have. I didn't indulge him. Hee hee. Ethan mocked, heard you didn't cancel wedding today, now probably crying hard alone. Sophia, to climb our pay, you really shameless. Hearing his deliberate insults, I cold laughed, Ethan, you're truly trash. Heh. Ethan scoffed, Sophia, I said long ago you can't fight me. Didn't Jean Villa project make you understand? Your life only fit to be stepped under me. Your plan written well, what use? Ended benefiting me, clothing for me and pay. Words fell, guests below began whispering. Initially, Ethan stabilized among young generation, became leader, precisely due to Jean Villa project's perfect completion. World only knew project done well, as if exhausting Ethan's talent, since then no such perfect project, unaware he stole my plan amid my parents' illness, my frantic busyness. That file I hoped to turn tables with became Ethan's stepping stone. Ethan's parents, knowing truth, exploited Chen's weakness, suppressed desperately. Thus continuing pay alliance was then my only, fastest way to preserve Chen. That was my first compromise to Ethan. Perhaps he really likes someone unconditionally compromising to him. But that person definitely won't be me. Listening to Ethan soliloquizing in mic, spilling secrets like beans from bamboo, exposing more to crowd, I smiled somewhat gratified. Ethan, you're as arrogant as ever. He probably still thinks I'm hiding in makeup room secretly crying, not standing in public accepting mockery and ridicule. But mockery alone won't kill. As Ethan finished, preparing to hear me cry begging, I smiled faintly, Ethan, you overestimate yourself, greet everyone. Amplifier spread my voice clearly through hall, some guests gasped. Adrian's mic-holding hand trembled slightly, eyes flashing excitement. Phone end silent seconds, Ethan's voice sank, Sophia, what do you mean? Literal meaning. I scanned around, gaze over subdued Ethan's parents, finally on Adrian, also, you're done, hee hee. Adrian cooperatively approached, chuckled into mic, bro, thanks for fulfilling, I can marry such excellent woman Sophia. Ethan then reacted, angrily roared, Sophia, you schemed me. Before more curses, I decisively hung up and blocked in one go. Raymond angrily looked at me. Sophia, doing this, not afraid these people see your joke? I shrugged indifferently. See then, who doesn't love jokes? Anyway, after Chen's joke scene today, I the stabilizing pillar remain. You better think what Pei should do. Next, Ethan no chance to steal my things. Saying, I signaled Mia to take Ethan's parents down. Good show watched enough, wedding banquet still must continue. Luckily Adrian and I thick-skinned, guest seeing, could only smile welcoming, accompany us through all procedures. This matter then ended. After banquet, I took family traveling. Though our wedding didn't invite media, inevitably some sneaked in. Even if not, banquet events couldn't be contained. Visible Raymond wanted last struggle, so PR direction always splashed dirt on me. As if tiny stain on me could prove Ethan right. Pity, now netizens are clear-headed. Slap me once, give scumbag 18 dragon palms. Moreover, many things Ethan admitted himself, I went with flow, released call recordings, videos, various proofs. Netizens called for future melons by the standard, if not hammered dead, count as couple fun. Pei active online 2 days, then rapidly declined. No need our action, those Ethan offended arrogantly before enough to trouble them. I got what I wanted, naturally no more intervention. Monopoly not good, Chen now needs only steady development. Thus, 3rd day, under our PR guidance, opinion shifted to that on-stage MC. After all, this guy quick-witted, in such chaos then, could improvise many words to warm field, even host whole wedding unchanging expression. Who sees not say, hard work, MC bro. In fast food info era, a hotspot basically won't last long. In half-month, online few cared about that explosive wedding site, mobilized by new hotspots. We ended travel, went home. That day, normal work, but blocked by haggard Ethan. I raised brow at bearded Ethan before me, almost unrecognizable. Once spirited Ethan, now like vagrant. Something? I glanced watch, 3 minutes. As Ethan back then. Sophia. He grabbed my car door hard, why do this? Lydia now cyberbullied can't even go out. I cold laughed, shook off his hand. Ethan, clarify, cyberbullying her are your diehard fans. They found you escaped wedding for mistress, turned and stripped Lydia bare. His face ashen, those recordings you released. Yes. I admitted generously, but you admitted stealing my plan yourself, I didn't force. Ethan suddenly reddened eyes, I beg you, spare Lydia. She's pregnant. I almost laughed, congrats, double joy. But. I approached, guess your parents knowing, will let you marry her, or force abortion? Seeing his sudden change, new hit sore spot. Pei values reputation most, now this situation, they'd rather no heirs than let Lydia in. And all this Ethan's obstinacy caused. Yet even now, he pushes all faults to me, truly incurable. Right, before boarding, final stab, your parents came yesterday, willing 5% shares for your pay return. I refused. Seeing his shock, I smiled gently, after all, I now have 13%. Closed door, from rear view saw Ethan kneeling. Really ugly, I thought. But this not even 1/10 what I endured then. At company, Adrian waiting in my office. Seeing me enter, he shook phone, Ethan found you? I took off coat, came to play pity drama. Adrian chuckled, he just called me too, said wants talk. Talk what? Brotherly bond? I scoffed. Probably wants me returned shares. Adrian shrugged, said willing double price. I raised brow, you agreed? I said. Adrian suddenly approached, fresh pine scent hit, must ask my wife first. This term heated my ear tips, though wedding play, legally we are couple. Talk business. I pushed him away, pay stock fell 40%, board sighed. Before finishing, Mia knocked in, Chin total, pay groups Richard wants see you. Adrian and I exchanged glances. Richard is Pay's second largest shareholder, coming now. Invite him in. Richard shrewd old man, after pleasantries direct to theme, Chin total, I'll say straight. Pay now mess, us old guys discussed, want you take over Pay. I almost choked on tea, Richard joking. Not joke. Richard serious, you have 13% shares, plus us old fellows, enough control. Besides. He glanced Adrian, you now have Pay. Indeed attractive, but I didn't rush agree. After seeing Richard off, Adrian immediately locked door, what think? I twirled teacup, this trap. They want borrow my hand clean mess, wait Pay revive then kick me out. You're really smart. Adrian smiled sitting on my desk, but, if add me this variable? He leaned whispering few words. Warm breath brushed neck, I stood abruptly, when did you acquire? Wedding second day. He blinked, using dowry you gave. I then recalled, at marriage I transferred him funds, said investment. Didn't expect him so fast. So. Adrian toyed my pen, play big? I hooked lip smile, good. 3 days later, finance news exploded, Chin Group announced acquiring 28% Pay shares, becoming largest shareholder. And representing Chin and Pay, surprisingly second young master Adrian. At press conference, reporter sharply asked, Adrian, this to personally bury own enterprise? Adrian suited neatly, smiled harmless, I'm just managing industry for wife. As for Pay. He looked camera, I now follow my mother, thanks. That night, Raymond sudden cerebral hemorrhage hospitalized. When Adrian and I visited, in corridor met pregnant Lydia. She saw us turn to run, but Adrian called, Miss Lydia, don't want know where my bro is? Lydia trembling turned, Adrian handed note, he's at this place, daily drunk living dream dying. Paused, by way, in your belly Pay only grandson, now old man critically ill. Before finishing, Lydia rushed to elevator. I watched her back, suddenly some sympathy, your bro will hate you to death. Mutual. Adrian held my hand, let's go, see our dear father. In ward, Helen seeing us about to smash things. Adrian easily caught flying vase, Madam Helen, doctor said you and Mr. Raymond need quiet rest. Beast. Helen sharply, you this to force Pay to death. I sighed, put down fruit basket, auntie, Pay now market value warming, employee wages rose, how count forcing to death? You. Right. I interrupted, next Monday Jingyu assumes Pay CEO, remember watch live. Saying, ignoring curses behind, we two left smiling. Out ward, Adrian suddenly pulled me into fire escape. In dark, his eyes brightly startling, Sophia, our cooperation agreement, expired. My heartbeat suddenly accelerated, so? So. He lowered head kissed me, renew? Lifetime kind. I pushed away, Adrian, serious? Serious from night you picked me home from hotel. He pressed my forehead, think why I cooperated acting this play? So that's it. I chuckled, raised hand around his neck, then, happy cooperation? My honor, madam. Later, Ethan and Lydia indeed caused scene in Raymond's ward. Heard Helen fainted on spot, angering Raymond to change will, donate all real estate to orphanage. And Adrian and I, held true wedding second year spring. This time no schemes, no deals, only ring he designed himself, and my I do. As for Pay? Now it's Chen's most profitable subsidiary. And Adrian? He's my most successful acquisition. One of them, anyway.